This is a hyperlapse shot using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It looks incredible, right? This is one of my favorite modes. It looks absolutely nuts. You're gonna find this in the mode section. It's in time lapses or hyperlapses, depending on what might show up. So what you need to do is make sure when you do swipe up, once you get into that mode, is make sure you're in hyperlapse mode. Simple, it'll say hyperlapse, right? Yeah, got that far. Now, there's not too many settings here. So the next thing is that you can actually select the resolution. Just shoot it in 4K. 25 will get you a little bit more motion blur, or 24 will get you a little bit more motion blur if you're using ND filters, or shoot it at 30. But 4K, like why not? Why wouldn't you? Next thing is just select how fast you want it to go. So it can be 2x, 4x, and all the ways up. Personally, I find auto mode works really, really well because it slows up and speeds down. Slows up, speeds down. Depending on your movement, the Osmo Pocket 3 will adjust it accordingly. So for a lot of stuff, I find this works really, really well. But you do you. Other options that you have here, you can actually still put manual exposure on here if you want to. You can dial in the settings from auto to manual. You also have the image adjustment, so bring that sharpness down to -2. Noise reduction, depending on what you're doing. You might have it on, you might have it off. Keep it as minimum as possible. Depending on what you're shooting, the focus mode, you can change that from continuous to single. Maybe in some scenarios, just a single focus where it's locked onto one thing is the way to go. But autofocus is really, really solid in any experiments that I've done with hyperlapses on the Osmo Pocket 3. But one or the other, it's going to be good. But keep in mind that once you're starting moving around something that's using single focus, it may go out of focus. So just keep, yeah. Now, here's the real big kicker here with hyperlapse mode in the Osmo Pocket 3. And this is the key to amazing looking footage, but it's not the catch. That's still to come. You can track objects in the Osmo Pocket 3, so just double tap on what you want to track, and then that's always going to keep it in the center of frame or wherever you position it for your hyperlapse, which makes incredible looking shots incredibly easy. You can have a basic hyperlapse like this on the beach. It's like, yeah, whatever. But anything else, so for example, I've locked onto the steeple here on the top. I'm going to walk in an arc around St. Coleman's Cathedral here in Cove. So we get that dynamic stuff, we get depth, we get that kind of 3D effect. And if there was clouds in the sky, which is usually the story here, not today though, then you can get extra depth and motion as well, which all looks really, really good. In fact, if you think about it, you can put a sequence of hyperlapses together super quick and they can be really effective. But here is the catch, my friends. Here is the catch. And it's a bad one. Hyperlapses are really, really, really cool. In fact, many moons ago, there were a trend on YouTube where creators were outdoing each other with incredible hyperlapses. Folks like Ben TK did amazing videos. Sam Cole, like hyperlapses were a thing, right? They took a lot of planning. They took a big gimbal, they took precision, they took a lot of thought. Now the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 takes away a lot of that because you can lock onto a subject like I've just explained. So you have to kind of think about the way the shots are, okay? It's not going to melt your brain, but it does require a little bit of thought. But that's not really the catch, because the catch fully, when we get into it, is besides these things being dated, where do they fit in your video? Where does it fit in the story of your video? Yeah, I know, they look amazing, but they are dated. But the thing is, are you taking a hyperlapse for hyperlapse sake? Or are you taking a hyperlapse for story sake? I know what you're saying. You're going, here we go again. Story, story, story. If story is the most important thing, my friends, then yeah, we can't be friends anymore. Story is really, really, really important. I get that, but wedging something into your video just because you've shot it, and it doesn't necessarily mean because you've shot it, it's going to bring value to the audience. Doesn't mean it's going to make for a good part of the story. So the real challenge, while there is a little bit of a challenge and thought process goes into kind of planning a hyperlapse, a really good one, the real challenge is figuring out, A, do you need it? And more importantly, where does it fit into your video? And I guarantee you, most of the hyperlapses have been done to death at this stage. But you never know. It's still a really cool feature. I would say just use it a little bit sparingly. Now, speaking of challenges, if you are new-ish to the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, there is a ton of mistakes that you can actually make, and having too many hyperlapses is one of them. So here's a bunch more mistakes that you do not want to make with the epic DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Subscribe, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye. Yeah, love you. You shouldn't be here by now. You should be gone off watching the other video, and then the YouTube gods will bestow upon me more